hits will bring you back from the grave, I swear. We going live from the underground. What up, YouTube? Topaz Yates back with another episode of Live from the Underground. And today, we going live with an actual review to a degree. It is what it is. The Tory Lanez project that I didn't get a chance to review a little minute ago, the Alone at the Prom, or Alone at Prom. I'm finally going to touch on it right here, right now. What up, Intelligence Cycle? Intelligence Cycle says he hasn't listened to the Tory Lanez joint yet. Man, yeah, you might want to get on it. Like, this joint, many people are trying to deem it as the best R&B album of the year. Now, do I feel that way? Nope. Because, Silk Sonic is going to be hard to top what Silk Sonic did. We got the top two R&B singers of this generation at this point in time doing a full-fledged project together where they're not compromising for the music industry. They're doing what they want to do. And the fact that that whole album went straight through minus maybe one song, that's going to be near impossible to top. So no, I do not believe that this Tory Lanez Alone at the Prom is the best album or R&B album of this year. But man, like, to be real with you, like, I feel as though this is symbolic of this year, at least how it came to an end now. It was the best projects were throwbacks. You dig? As this was a 80s throwback, where Silk Sonic was a 70s throwback, 70s soul music. This is a straight up 80s. Like, think of it like this. If the Breakfast Club movie, for those of you who watched it or know what that movie is, if the Breakfast Club movie was a black movie and were actually good, this was the soundtrack to it. Honestly, very enjoyable. It's just not fully all the way through. I do feel as though there was a bunch of skip songs in there, but solid nonetheless. Cannot take it away from him. Like I said in the intro, man, hits will bring you back from the grave. Like, it's been well documented to this point that Tory Lanez got on the bad side of everyone in the music industry from what he's been doing in his personal life. But man, if you keep on creating hit after hit, eventually people gonna forgive you. And Tory Lanez has the skill set to be able to pull that off. He got the skill set to be able to, make you forgive him for all the things that he's done because you want to hear more music. That's how talented he is, and that's how good this project is. But let's just go ahead and look at this holistically. As I said, that it's a 80s themed project that very reminiscent somewhat of the Chicks tape, if you feel me. Like, it has that true inspiration. It's creatively driven. It's unique amongst all the things that he's done. Tone that down. Very unique, very quality of that. But my problem is, just like the original Chicks tape was fire. It was amazing. But it was so good that he decided, I need to go ahead and make 5 or 6 iterations of this. And he watered it down all the way to the point that it just became, lackluster samples, uninspired samples that he was taking from generation upon generation and not really doing much with them. It seemed as though he was putting it out just to put it out because he keep on doing Chicks tapes. I'm hoping this doesn't turn into that, but yet the original Chicks tape was just as good as this project right here. And it's because he has that true inspiration. He truly wanted to do something of this caliber. You can even see with like all the artwork and the photos and stuff because this image that you're looking at right now, this isn't the the actual album artwork or whatever. This is just more part of his photo shoots and different images that he has. But all of it is along the same themes because you can see he was inspired to do something really creative for the 80s that most people haven't done. And I mean, there is a chance that he does this justice because, again, Tory Lanez is not signed to a major label. So he's not forced to put out anything. He's not forced to put out any kind of music. He can do whatever it is he wants to do. Whenever he gets inspired to do anything creative and unique, he can do that and just leave it alone or come up with something again and won't drop it again until he get that same creative energy to come from again. But looking at how this project has been trending for like a week and some change now, how hard people have been saying that, yo, this is solid, to the point that, you know, it makes everybody want to at least give it a try. And now when people like me are coming out telling you, yeah, this is the real deal. This album is real deal, dog. It would not shock me if he tries to mass produce this and create more and more of these 80s themed full projects and waters down the whole experience. Like, that's the thing when it comes to music and success and things of that nature. When you find something that's successful, odds are you want to see exactly how far it can be successful. You want to push it to the limit to see how far you can take it. And I wouldn't blame him. I would not blame him if he did it. I would want to hear it. But I also understand you got a track record of once you begin to do that, then the overall quality of his projects will fall apart. But let's go ahead and look at these individual tracks that I was feeling off of this joint. Starting with Enchanted Waterfall, which was an early song off the project, but it was the best song off the project. Like, there's still plenty more like quality projects on this joint outside of Enchanted Waterfall, but easily the best. And why I like it the most, man, that production is fire, dude. Like, go into that bass line, that pure 80s driven production that would be fire no matter the generation that it was made. Like, we're listening to it in 2021, but yet this would have been hot in the 80s, would have been hot in the 90s. Honestly, even though the 70s wasn't even like going in that direction when it comes to synths and things of that nature, but if it came out in the 70s, it might have changed music as we see it. You feel me? Honestly, it's just, this song is like the perfect vibe for this concept. And it would not shock me if this song right here was the one that sparked off the entire project. But yeah, man, that song easily the best. If you don't listen to any album, I mean, if you don't listen to any song off the album, or you just want to try one song off this project, start with Enchanted Waterfall. And that's going to go ahead and push you into wanting to hear this whole project and see exactly what it is that Tory Lanez is bringing to the table. That joint was fire. What up, Mr. Jamila Gray? I guess that's how you pronounce your name. What's good? The next song, I would say, was just as, well, not just as fire, but close. Very close would be that Pink Dolphin Sunset. Just the beautiful production and the vocals together, man. Like, you can see, after I heard Pink Dolphin Sunset, I'm like, yo, all right, this project is going to go in. It's hard to deny it after those two early projects, you feel me? But let's continue. Let's even talk about a song that really wasn't one of my absolute favorites, The Color Violet. Now, when you listen to The Color Violet, it sounds like, you know, something The Weeknd would do. But yet, better to a degree because it's not one-dimensionally made vocally. You did, because here's the thing, and I'm not trying to throw no shade at The Weeknd or whatever, because he got a voice, not the best voice there ever was in the music industry or nothing like that, but he has a beautiful voice, man. You can't take that away from him. But what he lacks is everything that Tory Lanez is best at, which is creativity, versatility, being able to take productions that aren't 1,000% up to snuff and make them into something that's amazing. Like, even though, and that's the thing about the music industry that people need to understand too, man. Like, you don't have to be Mariah Carey being able to sing in octaves that, like, dogs that dogs could hear better than most people. You don't have to do that. You can stick to your strengths. And as long as you are creative, as long as you are actually just a quality musician as a whole, you know how to create and craft good music because you have experience like Tory Lanez have since going all the way back to the Peterson mixtape that he did, where he showed me a long time ago that this man has the talent to actually be successful in the music industry. It's just sad he had to turn his back on all his talents in order to get there. But an individual like this who's been working hard over his entire career to actually be quality at putting out music, like, he can do anything that he puts his mind to. He doesn't have to be the most optimum, classically trained person from the Juilliard School of the Arts in order to create quality music. You don't have to do that. Clearly, most individuals who's putting out quality music picked it up on their own. They didn't have to go and learn actual notes. They didn't have to learn actual music theory. They didn't have to actually focus in so severely on being the best vocalist and being part of actual, like, groups of, like, background singers and things of that. They didn't have to go that direction in order to become great. And I mean, and that's what I'm feeling about this particular song. Like, he's not as talented as vocally as, say, The Weeknd, but he's a lot more creative. He's a lot more versatile, and he's created a lot of really good stuff because of that. Like, and I like them both. I'm not throwing no shade either which way. You feel me? I'm just saying Tory Lanez is much more creative, and he shows it, and that's why he's able to create projects like this. Even on the songs that I really wasn't, like, super big on, The Color Violet, wasn't really big on it, but you gotta give it some respect. You dig? Next song I want to talk about, that Lavender Sunflower. Well, this one, man, again, amazingly pieced together, man. Great production there. Well, what this one was about was him having infatuation with a woman that he wasn't with, but he was with somebody though. But yet that infatuation and that energy ultimately is crafting into something that's beautiful. You dig? Like, definitely enjoyed that one too. My next favorite song off of this would be Lady of Namek. Well, this song just shows you the flawlessness of the execution that Tory Lanez had for this 80s theme. Because when you listen to this, what does it remind you of? It reminds me of an 80s montage where, like, say, Rocky Balboa from a Rocky movie from back then. This is the music that he would be training to in order to defeat the big boss of the particular movie that's happening at the time. That's what this feels like. And you cannot have an 80s themed project without a montage track. You feel me? And he understood this thoroughly. He understood this going all the way through. And him doing this just shows you how excellent this project was. Like, I really wonder how long he was working on this. You dig? Like, I really, really wonder how long. Because when you throw in the montage track on top of all of the actual 80s production, that this 80s production feels like it could live on within this generation and live on through the 80s and 90s and the 2000s. Like, this could have worked at any time. Like, real talk, this could be borderline his, what's it called? The 808s and Heartbreak, but better. Because Tory Lanez is actually a better musician than Kanye. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Now, Kanye has a far greater track listing, far greater. Like, Kanye is, especially when you look at the whole Kanye and Drake concert and all that stuff, and Kanye was just going through all of his hits where he tried to turn it into a versus battle and Drake didn't want that smoke. Yeah. Tory Lanez ain't got nothing for that. Kanye is by far head and shoulders above Tory Lanez when it comes to legacy and all of this stuff in terms of quality music that resides amongst the peers, resides amongst the masses of the entire population. Do not take that wrong. Kanye got that. But if we talking about musician, we talking about who was it who worked harder at being a better lyricist? Who worked harder at his delivery? Who worked harder at his flow? Who worked harder at actually being a better individual at this? Tory Lanez. But yet, you could be the better musician and not have the, and definitely not have the quality music of somebody who does music. Like, we've seen this in multiple versus battles. Let's look at 3 6 Mafia versus the Bone Thugs and Harmony. I love them both. You feel me? Bone Thugs and Harmony, though, like, technically, when you break down the fact that they harmonize together, they rap together, they actually worked hard at their craft for a very long time to be as polished as they were. They are better musicians than 3 6 Mafia. But 3 6 Mafia got all the hits. 3 6 Mafia is actually, 3 6 Mafia goes way harder, clearly just based off of the dominant victory in that versus that hands down people had to accept, that hands down Busy Bone had to throw something because they were trying to hang the hat on the fact that they were technically superior artists who could sing, who could rap, who could actually be on top of everything, that wasn't so focused, that they are amazing artists. Let's not take that away from them. But man, I mean, it's hard out here for a pimp. Yeah. It's, man, who run it? When 3 6 Mafia came out the gate with Who Run It, and they just kept going with nothing but hits, sprinkle in some new artists that they promoting and things of that nature, songs that Project Pat came out and did his new song instead of going with the hits too. Like, there were instances where they're like, okay, we're just going to promote ourselves because we're so far ahead. But for the most part, 3 6 Mafia do music. They don't have to be technically as sufficient as Bone Thugs and Harmony was in order for them to dominate. Just like how Tory Lanez doesn't have to be, just like how Kanye doesn't have to be as technically as quality as Tory Lanez, but yet he makes better, he has made a better longevity of music than Tory Lanez ever will at this point, clearly. But that's if we're just comparing artists. let's not compare artists no more. Let's just focus on the music and say, I'll put it out there. Again, Tory Lanez is better rapper, better singer, better overall act than Kanye. He just doesn't have the better music. But he's more technically sufficient. Let's just leave it at that. What up, Tiffany Carpenter? And honestly, that looks like it could be a spam account. But if you spam, you're out of here, Tiffany. But we'll see. But let's continue. The Last Kiss of Nebulon. Now, this is not one of my favorite songs off this project. You feel me? Like, this song in particularly, I've heard this sample before. I've heard it from other acts, far lesser acts as well. And to be real with you, I've heard far lesser acts do better with it. Like, it's still epic to a degree. Like, I cannot blame individuals who aren't like as well versed in music as I am, like who are really focused in on the underground and things of that nature. I cannot blame people who don't know the longevity of music that I know. If you like it, that's cool. But I've heard this one in particular, and I've heard it done 10 times better. You feel me? So that takes it away. That takes away the quality for me. But it's still one that I did like to listen to. It rides a little bit, but it's not one that's going to make my playlist. But that's the thing. Like, just because Tory Lanez did a 80s version of a singing R&B album, like an 80s themed project, doesn't mean that this is something completely unique to the music scene. It's not something that's truly unique to music in general. People have been doing this. It's just Tory Lanez probably did it the best for this year. Well, he deserves his respect for that, but let's not make it into something much more than what it actually is, where people are trying to say nobody's ever done something like this. Don't go that far now. Do not go that far. Honestly, people have done it. They may have used similar samples. They may have done it better, just not this year. But yeah, you gotta give Tory Lanez his props. You gotta give him his dues for the grind and everything that he's put forth here. The last song I want to touch on here was the Heart for Mercury, where, like, this one was just another one of the flawless execute. Like, you listen to this, and the only thing that's missing is where's the video where you're in the rain. Like, this is like the rain scene of the 80s movies music. You feel me? That's like the only thing missing from this, as the basic concept is heartbreak from rejection in a true 80s version, true 80s fashion. You feel me? And I think, honestly, man, overall, I think this project was near flawless. Not all the way flawless, because like I told you, like, there was songs in there, like The Last Kiss of Nebulon to the Color Violet. Like, there's a bunch of songs on here that were not executed 1000%. Like, there was a bunch of skip songs on there that I'm only keeping 5 songs. So that's what, 5 out of 11 songs. But those 5 songs are a must-have for anybody's playlist. You feel me? Like, those 5 songs are definitely must-haves for your Spotify playlist, for your Apple Music playlist, whatever you listen to, you need to have that on it. It's creative in terms of what we're hearing in the music industry now. Given he probably did get inspired to do this based on, okay, Silk Sonic came out with a whole theme of the 70s, all the images, all of the performances, all of this was everywhere. You dig? It was all 70s, everywhere. Everybody is calling it the album of the year. Are you telling me that Tory Lanez didn't see it? Are you telling me that Tory Lanez did not peep where these great individual artists was what they was doing and got inspired and like, you know what? I could do that, but I can't do it the same though. I can do it in the 80s. I'm gonna do it my way. Which, I mean, hey, inspiration comes where inspiration comes. I'm not trying to dismantle because it feels like he got inspired by other great artists and stuff that's out there. Hey, greatness inspires greatness. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but I mean, it's hard though. It's hard to not be like, yo, okay, it seems like the year of the throwback. People are all getting inspired by each other, but if you're going to compare, you kind of gotta go with the original that had a bigger year, that had bigger songs, that had better songs. I mean, clearly we kind of got to compare because they seem to be along the same lines, just different years that they were inspired by. And there's nothing on this. Well, I wouldn't say, yeah. I don't think there's anything on this that can compete with Leave the Door Open. Just off of impact alone, the quality of music is there. I think, yeah, I like the quality of music both, but I mean, here's the thing. 70s music had a lot more this 70s soul music, even though 80s was a spinoff and they just digitized all the music and all that stuff, like there was a lot more effort that was put into the 70s music than it was in the 80s. But on top of that, having two of the greatest musicians of a time period doing a theme project, it's hard to top, it's hard to compare. It is what it is. But this project, having 5 songs out of 11 when Silk Sonic had, 7 out of 8. But this project was excellent. Hands down, one that you need to go ahead and peep. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Solid. And when we look at Tory Lanez individually as a person, like he's had a lot of ups and downs this year. Especially personally, with a lot of things that I'm still upset with to a degree, that I'm still holding against Tory Lanez that he shouldn't have done, because some of the things that he raps about, you can see he clearly is about that life. And when you see him shoot the hottest female rapper in the game who got her degree recently, shout out to Megan Thee Stallion for going ahead getting that education. Like, I still have issues with Tory Lanez and the things that he's done, but yet music is what this is all about. So therefore, when this individual drops off 2 albums this year that were amazing, I mean, Alone at the Prom is amazing right now. Playboy was fire too. Now, he dropped it at the wrong time, where it was competing with maybe the wrong individuals to compete with. But Playboy actually was pretty good. It doesn't get as much play on my playlist as I would have thought. You feel me? Because it came out at around the same time as who was it? Was it DVSN came out at around that time? And J. Cole came out at about that time too. Like, there was a lot of really good stuff that was dropping all around that time, where Playboy really didn't get the wide recognition that it probably deserved. But Playboy is still good. It's nowhere near what it's not as good as Alone at the Prom. But they're both for him to drop both of these back to back in 2021, it shows you musically he still got it. Like, he's showing us the talent that he's always had, but yet he suppressed it in order so he could make it to the mainstream media. Because if you guys remember, the only way that he made it to the mainstream media, the only way that he got there was so that he disregarded all of his unique quality music, from the original Chicks tape to Swavey to even like his first actual album. Like he had some joints off of the first album that was true to his history, that was true to his past, but yet he had to drop Say It. He had to drop a lot of the songs that got super annoying after some time because they were not really creative, they weren't really driven, they weren't really amazing projects. You feel me? He had to stray away from everything that he was best at and try to be like Drake and do the international like sound that got whitewashed to a degree and watered down, but use that, got pushed by the record labels in order to shine. But yet, by him dropping these back-to-back projects, he's showing us he's always still had these skills. He still got them. He just now is realizing, yo, maybe I should get back to it, which is cool, which is dope. Like, give us more, please, because you've gone away from it for so long. You should have more stacked up that you can get back to that point. You feel me? I hope this is the first step towards. I really hope that this is Tory Lanez's first step towards getting completely back to what made him great beforehand. Like, you're never going to be able to make another Swavey. You're never going to be able to make another Chicks Tape 1. You're never going to be able to make all of the great music that he did when he was on the underground making music. He's never going to be able to do that again. But yet, if you were to focus on what made that music great, instead of trying to recreate it, like going back to being true to yourself, making music that you like best, instead of the music that you feel as though, or the record labels hyped you up telling you that you need to do, stuff that you feel should sell because that's the single that pushed you over the top, and go away from that and just go to you creating the music that feels right to you again. Go back to that, and maybe we'll get more projects like Alone at the Prom. We'll see him actually become more of what he once was, but yet take it to another level because he still got somewhat of the audience from the mainstream. Those who stuck around, he still got those. People still liking, and his stuff is still going viral. So there's no point now. You have nothing holding you back from becoming the artist that you always should have been. And now you can actually get paid the amount of money that you always kind of wanted to be able to do it from the beginning. Overall, excellent project, man. Definitely enjoyed this, man. Definitely recommend people to go ahead and peep it on out, as I'm going to be doing more of these. I don't know what I'm gonna do next though. Like, I got a few projects that I was looking at. The Wiz Got Wings joint that came out, or the Chomp 2 by Russell. That one, I don't know. But there's also a few more. Hold up. Let me. That NBA Youngboy and Baby, like how everybody was clowning that, but mainly, honestly, the one that I honestly want to do, if it strikes a chord within me to actually want to actually do the video, will be the Big Boy and Sleepy Brown mixtape, The Big Sleepover. Like, that excites me. to the point that I want to review it, but I'm not going to touch it if it's not fire. You dig? And I haven't listened to it yet, but I will listen to it. But tomorrow I might do one of those, or I might have a topic based on what's happening in the news. We'll see. We're going to go from here, man. But I appreciate everybody who came in, tuned in for this one. One of many live reviews that's going to be coming to you live from the underground, baby. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, man. I try to hit back as many people as I possibly can. I try to do a video every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, usually for the full length mixtape or album reviews or song reviews and stuff, where I do a lot to those. Those take up a lot of time and energy, which that always happens on Thursdays. Fridays, it depending on what's going on. You feel me? But appreciate everybody, man, tuning in. I'm out here. Y'all keep it 100.